Introverts of Reddit. What social interaction makes your battery down to 0% immediately? When you're at a party where everyone else knows each other. I hate going to parties where I know one, maybe two people. You want to interact with them, but don't want to follow them around like a little puppy dog because I don't want to talk to anyone else. I hate going to parties where I know one, maybe two people. You want to interact with them, but don't want to follow them around like a little puppy dog because I don't want to talk to anyone else. This was the exact situation I came in to comment about. It just drains me so fast. Over the years I have gotten better about interacting with strangers, and have enough general interest I can usually find a topic I can interact with a little, but it just drains me. It irritates me when I meet my friend, and Hess got his mates from school too, and they talk about specific events at school, so I just go on my phone and pretend to browse stuff. I've had this happen a lot when I was in high school, and it made me very aware of the entire group of people I'm hanging out with. I make it a point to talk to the person I know isn't as familiar with everyone now. Definitely when you can't get your words into a conversation. You make an honest effort to be more outward, but people talk over you and you just give up. Especially when you actually have something to contribute in that 30-minute conversation that has gone by, but everyone won't shut up, so you wait patiently for your turn, but you sit, inwardly crying because they've changed topics twice now and there's no way to go back and say your piece that might have actually made you interesting. Going along to an event as A+1 and having to make small talk with all my friends' friends. Let's go around the room and everyone say a little something about themselves. Now everyone get into groups of 2. Looks around room, everyone has somehow already partnered up in 10 milliseconds flat. Arg, I hate those. I just end up not grouping up with anyone, trying to go unnoticed by the teacher. But then Shahei noticed me and forces me into a group of people who were having fun, and it makes me feel like the biggest a-hole just because I didn't have any friends. Frown. Am not an introvert. Also do not like doing it. Running into an old friend you've grown distant from. Like, do we acknowledge each other and have a full-on conversation, or do we just do the head nod and move on? The pretend I didn't see that person works too. Bonus if they also pretend they haven't seen you. Everyone wins. This is my life every time I go back to my hometown. Just avoiding eye contact with people I know over and over until I go back home. One-on-one interaction where I'm sort of in charge. Anytime I'm leading around a new hire or intern at work and need to take them around all day, take them to lunch, etc. Exhausting. Being on point and being responsible for another person's experience of their day is just so much pressure. That's it for me too. New trainee day is the worst. There's a stranger, I have to interact with them one-on-one all freaking day. I genuinely care about them and want them to do well. I know that their progress depends on me, at least somewhat, which means I need to do well, but seriously when it's halfway through the shift and I need a break, am I doing my best? Training is usually followed up by a one-on-one meeting with a supervisor about the trainee and their progress. Please just let me crawl into a beer. Your bullet point game is on point. Sorry. Office team buildings. Any employment-related fun. That's mandatory fun, mister. While it's completely voluntary, you still better have your ass there. Why is no one having fun? I specifically requested it. Anything after work. Work is draining enough. Why are you shy? Why don't you talk? Thanks for the awards. You don't say much, do you? Are you not happy today? Unexpected people at a gathering, or many people coming and going. My in-laws seem to always have lots of random people living with them, and you truly never know who's going to be at their house until you walk in the door. I can't prepare myself if I don't know how many which people I can expect to see. My mill also tends to bring random people with her when invited over. Well, they were at the house when we left and they wanted to come too. I hate having unexpected strangers in my house. It instantly takes away the feeling of it being my safe zone. Probably not surprising that I don't invite my in-laws over very often, and it's extremely rare that I go to their house. They wanted to come too, because Mill invited them, told them it would be fine and that you have a more the merrier attitude, barf, and that it would be fun. Turns out it's completely awkward. You're pissed off, stressed and uncomfortable, the guest is uncomfortable, and Mill is oblivious. She's fine with letting anyone and everyone in her house at all times, so of course everyone else feels that way too. I have family like this, they have no concept of boundaries. Hey, let's get a drink, you and me. Sure. At the pub. Oh, when I said just you and me, I actually meant you, me and my friend from uni that you don't know, but with whom I go way back and will talk to all night while ignoring you. And then I'll duck off for an extra long piss, leaving you two alone to the conversational equivalent of a hedgehog fucking a tortoise. Going to any store when it's packed. If I see a store or restaurant that is too crowded, I just leave immediately. I just refuse to deal with that. I feel so much better knowing someone else does this. The number of times I've had to just turn around and go home because some place is just mobbed is high, and everyone around me teases me for it. Work. Customer service has made my skin crawl since day one, but it pays the bills. How's school going? Honorable mention goes to do you have a girlfriend yet? Edit, whoever gave me the gold. Thanks, my guy. I'm focusing on finishing school right now. They'll get a GF after. Meanwhile, the reality is that you're doing shit in school and you got no game. When the really sweet, fast-talking 13-year-old girl across the street sees me out front and comes over with yet another little bracelet she has made for me. I don't hear well, in addition to being an introvert, and her chirpy little voice is incomprehensible. I don't want to be rude to her and would not hurt her feelings for anything in the world, but don't want to be her grandma, so it's very stressful. Kids are usually very receptive if you just explain what your problem is. I'm sure if she's sweet enough to make you bracelets, then they'll happily understand if you explain your hearing issue. I did explain to her about my hearing. She spoke slightly louder, but still fast and with that high-pitched voice that young girls have. I think that in time, I can help her to understand. Being able to hear involves not only how loudly someone speaks, but the tone of their voice. I understand men a lot better because my loss mostly involves upper register sounds. I remember when I worked in an assisted living home for a while, I had to learn to speak in a lower register because so many of the residents straight up couldn't hear me. I'm a drama teacher and I am forever asking my young actors to lower the pitch of their voices on stage. It makes a world of difference. I had a drama teacher who, as a young acting student, was told to take up smoking to lower her voice. A couple decades later it definitely worked. Her voice was lower than all the guys in my class. Great teacher though, actually supportive and gave a shit about me unlike literally every other teacher I had between middle school and dropping out of college. Family gatherings. Funny you mention that. I'm currently on vacation. My grandma is having a birthday get-together this evening with about 16 other family members I don't really know and only briefly talk to every 3 to 4 years. I've already spent the last hour in my room and I'll probably be spending more time in here when people start arriving. I struggle enough with my life job school. The worst thing is having to put on a fake mask and talk about my aspirations when I just want to zone out of all that for one day. One-sided conversations. The first moment they talk over me or interrupt and don't sorry I interrupted what were you saying me, my battery drains instantly. Yeah, that. If I have to dominate my way into a conversation by speaking over you until you stop talking, then I've got better things to do. Someone commenting on how much you talk. Either wow, talkative today or X is quiet. It's like, I was comfortable until you had to start treating me like you were tourists at a zoo exhibit. Edit, thank you for the thought, but Reddit gold is wasted on me. Any future guilders should instead donate to feedingamerica.org since this comment is way too popular. Please also remember to try and do something kind for someone else today. Arguments can drain me from 100% to 0 real fast. Confrontation in general I would say is my arch nemesis. It's even worse when it's a pointless one. It's bad enough when you're listening to one. It really bums the mood. Never mind when you're put in one personally. Every time I get into one, I always losicant rebuttal because I don't know what to say half the time due to stutters that quickly make any manner of gathered thought shatter to pieces. TL, doctor, I suck at arguments.